The Jedi and the Republic came very close to uncovering the secrets of Order 66 during the Clone Wars. Fives himself came very close, and Anakin and Rex could have believed him. And what if they did believe Fives and went on to investigate to find Order 66? That's what we're going to explore today. And folks, new thing, I have two channels. That's my official decision. This will be the What If fanfiction only channel, and I'm moving all lore, news, streams to a different channel that I'll link in the description. It'll be basically daily uploads over there, and over here it'll be 4 uploads per week, 4 what ifs. So, that's the plan, just trying to separate content, keep it consistent. Anyways, you're here for today's what if, so let's get right into it. Anakin Skywalker sat in the Chancellor's office with Jedi Masters Yoda, Windu, and Shaak Ti. The Jedi and the Chancellor were finalizing their discussions on Clone Trooper 5s. Not long ago, Anakin and his clone Captain Rex had witnessed 5 basically go crazy, rambling on about a plot to destroy the Jedi, a plot using the clones. And Anakin remembered a detail from 5's that still had Anakin shaken. 5 said Chancellor Palpatine was in on all of it, at the center of everything. And here, Chancellor Palpatine said here and now that 5 was infected with a parasite, likely from a canteen of water. But then why didn't Anakin, or any of the clones besides Tup, have this parasite? It was all so strange. When the meeting ended, Anakin stayed back to talk to Chancellor Palpatine alone. When it was just the two of them, Anakin asked Palpatine to go over the inhibitor chips again. Were they really necessary, especially if they could pose such a threat to the Jedi? And Palpatine said that they were meant for security purposes only, that they had little effect, and the clones were unstable, grown at a rapid speed. No one could be sure exactly what to expect, and so they were necessary. Anakin thanked Palpatine and left the office. Anakin's opinion of the Chancellor had soured recently. He was never on the battlefield. He didn't know these clones like Anakin. They were far from unstable. The clones were excellent at doing what they were supposed to. And Anakin planned to investigate more, for 5's and for his men. Soon enough, Anakin met up with Captain Rex, who admitted that he had similar feelings about the whole thing. Anakin went on to speak with Master Yoda, asking for a special council meeting with Captain Rex, and himself reporting their own suspicions. And Yoda agreed with this. Anakin went to find Rex, while the council members gathered from all across the galaxy. When everyone was in session, either via hologram or in person, Anakin had Captain Rex report what he saw. And Rex went on to say that he owes it to 5's to report what he saw. He wasn't sure he even believed it himself, but there's a possibility the inhibitor chips that the Kaminoans put inside of the clones. He said Rex, they might have a purpose they don't fully understand. When 5's investigates these chips further, he found something that made him go crazy. With your permission, he told the generals, Rex would like to request a special research mission with General Skywalker to research these chips further. The council sat in contemplation. It was clear in this war that they were all missing something. The mysterious Darth Sidious hid in the shadows while the war played out. None of it made much sense. Maybe a mission like this could uncover what the Jedi were missing. And eventually, Mace Windu told Anakin and Rex that they were on an official recon mission to Kamino. Research these inhibitor chips, report back any findings of significance. For Anakin, this was a nice change of pace in the war. It was a mission that could lead to real progress, and soon him and Rex were in hyperspace. They landed above Kamino, making their way down to the research stations. As they entered, Kaminoans asked why this visit was happening. Anakin said he was simply checking in, and Rex was here to check on the new batch that was set to enter his 501st Legion. Soon enough, Anakin and Rex made their way into a medical room, locking the door behind them. Rex got onto the scanning table, and immediately Anakin found the inhibitor chip inside of him. Both of them wanted to look further into it, to determine if it was a necessity, but they weren't sure how. Rex remembered what 5 said, that the chip was removed from him, and the nightmares, the mission deep inside of his head, it was gone. A moment later, the door opened despite being locked, and a medical droid was surprised to find Anakin and Rex. The droid introduced himself as AZ-3, and recognized what Anakin and Rex were doing. Anakin asked the droid to remove the chip, as Rex was experiencing headaches, and the droid's programming was to save the clone. Following its programming, AZ was convinced, and Rex had his chip surgically removed. When he awoke, Rex realized quickly how different this felt. Fives was right. Rex felt free. The mission, the nightmares that he barely even knew were there, were gone. He told Anakin they must get more information on these chips. It was vital. But from the security room, Prime Minister Lama Su watched Anakin and Rex on the cameras do this procedure, and he contacted Lord Tyrannus immediately. This development greatly concerned Tyrannus, also known as Count Dooku. Dooku told the Prime Minister to arrest them for breaking into the research facilities. Then, he contacted his own master, Darth Sidious. Sidious said Dooku must go there. Skywalker has compromised their grand plan. They could execute Order 66 right now, but it just wasn't the time. It wouldn't work. They needed the war to go on. They needed the Jedi to be spread thin. They needed the Republic to lose faith in the Jedi, and that just hadn't happened yet. So Dooku was ordered to go there, kill Skywalker and his clone captain, make it all look like an accident, do what must be done. Anakin and Rex continued their research, eventually getting to a terminal with all of the clones' biological information. As a Jedi General and a clone captain, the two of them had security access to basically everything they needed, including the inhibitor chips. Soon enough, Anakin and Rex found the data for the chips, 150 contingency orders to be used in case of emergency. Basically, once activated, the clones could be reprogrammed to comply without question, and Anakin scanned through the orders. They were all relatively tame, except for two of them for sure. Order 65 stated that if a majority of the Senate or the Security Council declared that the Supreme Chancellor, at that time Palpatine, was unfit for duty, the Chancellor was to be arrested or, if necessary, killed. And Order 66 stated that in the event of Jedi officers acting against the interests of the Republic, and after receiving specific orders from the Supreme Commander Clone Troopers, will remove these officers by lethal force. Basically, Palpatine could order the clones to kill their Jedi commanders. Anakin copied the data about the chips onto his own datapad. Why had the Jedi not been made aware of this? They were in danger of falling victim to their own grand army. All the Chancellor had to do was decide that the Jedi were acting against his best interests. Anakin and Rex prepared to leave when alarms began to blare. Anakin and Rex knew this was about them. They sprinted into a hallway where they ran into Commander Oppo and Jesse. They were here for investigation about the parasite that got into Fives, to see if it got into them as well. Rex quickly informed these two clones about what he and Anakin found, how vital this information was, how they had to get it back to the Jedi, to the Republic. Anakin told the three of them to get to their ship. He would hang back, distract the security clones coming to stop them, and so Rex, Oppo, and Jesse took off with the datapad containing the evidence. They ran through the halls of Camino, soon entering a room where security clones were entering on both sides, at least 15 of them, and they began firing. As of now, these clones were traitors stealing from the Republic, and that's what the security was told, that Rex, Oppo, and Jesse were now enemies of the Republic. Oppo removed his helmet and told the other two to get out of here, down the hallway to their left. He would distract this group. Rex and Jesse tried to argue, but Oppo shoved them away and jumped into battle. Oppo fired at the clone security, yelling for the Republic, knowing this sacrifice could save all of his brothers. Rex and Jesse ran with the datapad, soon heard a scream from Oppo, but the two of them were free. They had to go. This was vital. As they saw the door to get to their ship, another squad of 10 to 15 security clones emerged, blocking their path, and began firing on the two of them. This time, Jesse said he would do his duty for his brothers and for the Republic. He handed Rex the datapad and rolled into battle versus the clone security. Jesse remembered Oppo, he remembered Echo, Fives, Tup. They all died to bring this conspiracy to light, and now he would too, for his brothers and for Rex. This was a nightmare for Rex, but it gave him the necessary distraction again. Anakin was still holding back the squads behind them, so Rex was able to go through a side hallway once again, getting outside just in time. Anakin did what he had to do versus the security clones. He understood these clones were simply doing what they were ordered, so he disarmed them, knocked them out without killing them, and eventually He took off through the facilities. He saw Oppo fall into his own troops. Anakin continued on, seeing Jesse. Anakin had to continue, and eventually he reached the door to see Rex at the ship. Security clones tried to follow through the same door, but Anakin used the Force to block it with the debris from the Camino building. He wishes he could just convince these clones to help, but none of them were as close as Jesse and Oppo had been to the whole situation. None of them knew what's truly going on here. And security clones were stuck now. Anakin used the Force blocking the debris. He and Rex could take off safely. But as Anakin turned to Rex at the ship, he saw the clone captain being lifted into the air, grabbing his neck. Count Dooku rose through the rain, standing atop his own ship. He flipped onto the landing platform, and as Anakin began to sprint at Dooku, the Sith Lord stabbed Rex through the back and grabbed the datapad. Before Dooku could destroy it, Anakin unleashed a huge Force push in his anger. Dooku slammed into his ship, dropping the datapad to the ground. He got up just in time to block a lightsaber strike from Anakin. Anakin's eyes were ablaze with determination as he hurled himself at Dooku, saber spinning as he swung it at Dooku with aggression. It was clear now that Dooku and the Separatists did not want Anakin and the Republic finding this information. The clone army was mysterious from the start. Was it Dooku and the Separatists that had designed it to fight this war and ultimately destroy the Jedi? Anakin was overwhelmed with it, but this was the duel for victory in the war, and Dooku countered Anakin's movements with precise blocks himself, parrying each blow with extreme grace as the rain continued to pour down on them. Dooku tried getting further under Anakin's skin, saying he was no match for his skills without the powers of the dark side. Anakin's frustration fueled his aggression, his strikes becoming more ferocious with every passing moment. He summoned the Force, channeling it into his attacks, trying to break through Dooku's defenses. The catwalk shuddered beneath their feet as they exchanged blows, their powers resonating through the structure below them. Anakin saw an opportunity, and he couldn't resist the urge to tell Dooku that he wouldn't escape this time. With a sudden burst of strength, Anakin broke through Dooku's defenses and scored a deep gash across Dooku's chest. Dooku staggered backwards, his cloak billowing as he falls onto his back. Anakin ran over to him, but Dooku wasn't done yet. He retaliated with a blast of Force lightning that Anakin blocked, but he stumbled backwards. Anakin recovered quickly, his eyes narrowing with determination. Rainwater streaked down his face as he summoned his strength. With a couple great moves, Anakin sends Dooku's red lightsaber spiraling into the rain-soaked abyss below. With a powerful punch, Anakin sent Dooku once again crashing to the ground, his back laying against the catwalk's edge. Dooku, defeated and drenched, raised his hands in surrender, realizing it's over. Anakin now stared at his unarmed prisoner. Dooku was his, defeated with a cut across his chest. But Anakin wanted him dead. He could barely resist. Anakin raised his lightsaber to kill Dooku, but a blaster bolt went right through the heart of the Sith Lord. Dooku was shocked. Then he died, falling forever into the water below. Anakin turned to see Rex fall backward. His lightsaber wound was fatal, but he used the final bit of strength to kill Dooku and save Anakin from killing him himself. Rex looked to Anakin, telling him to save his brothers, save the Jedi. Then the clone captain died in the rain. Anakin had tears in his eyes as he grabbed Rex's body, jumping into Dooku's ship to fly away as clone security finally broke through and began firing at him. Anakin finally escaped into space, transmitting the data back to the Jedi Council. As Anakin flew back to Coruscant in Dooku's ship, he began to examine the communication codes. One of them transmitted a message back to Coruscant. Anakin clicked the button, curious, but he knelt down in the ship, putting his hood over his head. This could be the Sith Lord. And soon enough, a hologram of a hooded figure stood in front of Anakin. He asked Lord Tyrannus if it was done. Palpatine could not tell that this was Anakin, and anger burned inside of Anakin. He knew this was Chancellor Palpatine. Quickly, Anakin disabled all communication to make it look like a technical error. He hung up, and as he came out above Coruscant, he made an emergency transmission to the Jedi Council. Anakin asked them to meet in Palpatine's office. He was the Sith Lord, and Anakin had all the evidence. Chancellor Palpatine looked out of his office window as Anakin entered the room. Part of him still wanted to use Order 66 now, but it just was not the time. He knew now for certain that Dooku had failed, and indeed it was Anakin that had contacted him. Perhaps he could still make this work. He greeted Anakin, and soon began going on about how long they'd been friends, how Palpatine trusted Anakin, how he wanted Anakin at his side when this war came to an end. He promised Anakin the life he always wanted, leader of a peaceful galaxy, with Padme at his side. This made Anakin ignite his lightsaber, and he told Palpatine that he would never join him. Anakin remembered the sacrifices of Oppo, Jesse, and Rex, for the Republic, for this moment, for the Jedi, and all this time, it was the leader of the Republic behind everything. Palpatine tried again, but moments later Yoda, Windu, Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, Luminara, Stas Ali, and Obi-Wan Kenobi entered the room, igniting their lightsabers to arrest the Chancellor. Sidious knew there was no point in resisting. It was over for now. And he was taken in by the Jedi, knocked out with a stun blast, and brought to the temple's highest security area. When Sidious awoke, he was in a Mandalorian vault from ancient times, when the Jedi and the Mandalorians had fought. The Jedi had one hidden far in reserve, and Sidious was stuck, unable to use the Force, to move, or speak, locked in the lowest level of the temple prison, alone, heavily guarded. And in the Senate, Anakin Skywalker presented the datapad with Order 66, along with the recording from Dooku's ship, where Palpatine had answered the Sith Lord. The Jedi were right, and the Senate accepted it. Palpatine was a separatist. After some time, Padme Amidala was promoted to Chancellor. With Dooku dead and Sidious captured, Grievous was hunted down and defeated. Padme initiated true peace talks with the Separatists, and after a few months, the war came to an end, with Separatists' planets allowed back into the Republic. Anakin remembered the clones who sacrificed themselves, and was forever in their debt. The Jedi Order realized their faults in letting the Sith rise to power, and adjusted the code accordingly. Yoda stepped down as Grand Master, and Plo Koon took his place, as Yoda became a guide in the temple. Anakin and Obi-Wan grew closer than ever, and soon Anakin let his relationship with Padme be known publicly. He was allowed to stay in the Order, and eventually with Padme as Chancellor, with Anakin, the chosen one, at her side, there was peace. And folks, that's where our story comes to an end today. I hope you enjoyed. Once again, I'm separating my two channels. This one will be What If fanfictions only, and the other one will be everything else, lore, news, streams, I don't know. Just more of a chill hangout spot for everyone, so that'll be fun. Hope you enjoy. Hope you liked today's video. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video coming on Thursday. The schedule will be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.